This is David Dean here at the infamous Repton Boxing Club here at Bethnal Green. I'm here with one of the rising stars in British boxing, in Amo Singh. Hopefully I said that correctly. Hopefully I didn't butcher it, things like that, my friend. First of all, how are you?
I'm not too bad, training as always.
Absolutely. And I just want to get straight into it because, you've got a very fascinating story. We just want to, first of all, appreciate your time and letting us show a little bit of who you are and what you're about, really. So for me personally, I sort of want to start from the beginning, really, and just talk about how you got into boxing and what attracted you into a Repton Boxing Club.
So I first actually got into boxing when my dad took me to the gym when I was about 8 or 9. He actually boxed himself. He had like 15 bouts. He didn't go pro or nothing, but he said it was good fun and keeps you disciplined and dedicated, and definitely keeps you out of trouble as well as you're growing up. So he took me down to actually Lion Club in Hoxton, not too far from here. I trained with Steve Waters for up until like I was a youth, and then I eventually came to Repton, I think about 2016, 2017, and since then I've been here. I did bounce the club with Ricardo Williams. He's actually a GB coach. And eventually came back to Repton. I've been training hard ever since.
Absolutely. And I just want to talk a bit more about Repton Club. What is it about Repton Club that makes this place so unique and so special in your eyes?
I think it's just the environment itself. The boxers, the coaches, everyone's all dedicated to the craft. So everyone's trying to bring each other on. It can get competitive at times, can get heated, but we all know it's all for the love of the sport. And obviously the history behind it, the amount of champions that have come through this gym and walked out. I think anyone in the area definitely knows about the famous Repton Boxing Club, along with like seeing it on TV and movies and adverts. The list goes on.
Absolutely. And who was your influences in the world of boxing growing up? Were there any fighters that you looked up to in particular?
One of the main guys is definitely Mike Tyson. I think everyone loves Mike Tyson's knockout. Exciting fact. Exciting to him to watch.
Yeah.
Just do what he does. His confidence, his whole aura, and Nazim Hamed as well, Prince Nazim. I do love his style. It's unorthodox. It does get the crowd going and it's very entertaining.
And it's interesting you speak about, the old school fighters because those old school fighters like Mike Tyson, Prince Nazim Hamed, they've left a very indelible imprint in the world of boxing. What is it that you sort of learned from these fighters and how you sort of look to take each influence into your career?
So I think every boxer kind of takes a little bit from everything from every pro fighter or amateur boxer. So they would take the best bits from them. And when I do obviously get in the ring, I do try to leave a stamp on it that you remember my name. Like the way my style is, a bit fancy, a bit hands down, a bit showing off.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I want to talk a bit more about obviously who you are as a boxer, because there's been quite a bit of noise about you in terms of who you are, what you do. Just tell us a bit more about, who you are as a boxer and what sort of weight class that you're fighting at the moment.
So right now I fight at 65 kilograms, so that's what the England weights have changed to. I've represented England up in the Macedonia Box Cup, which I got gold. Wasn't too bad. What was the other question, sorry?
And I want to talk a bit more about, obviously, your weight class and what's your boxing style.
So boxing style is, a lot of people say I'm quite flashy, but
yeah.
not too arrogant, kind of cocky. And a bit of hands down, bit of elusiveness, and obviously I switch stances as well, so I'm quite diverse. And I feel like I pack a little punch along with a lot of speed. Yeah,
absolutely. And is that sort of something that you sort of want to look to take into the pro game?
Of course, definitely. I do want to definitely take that style to the pros. I want everyone to tune in, everyone to say who's this kid coming up, and just an entertaining person. I feel like that style has always been me. Whereas, like if I'm sparring at a gym or even just here at our own gym or at fights, you always see a crowd around my ring.
Absolutely, and I want to talk a bit more about Asian representation, Southeast Asian representation. How important is it to represent and to fly the flag for Southeast Asia, especially in the world of boxing?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most important things in my life. I'm actually the first Sikh amateur to win a national title, and obviously represent the country as well. So that's definitely a big thing, and it brings more of the community together as well, because I get so many shout outs from obviously South Asians, and it's definitely a big part of my life.
obviously you got people at the moment like Adam Azim.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they're sort of flying the flag. You know, for
obviously
Southeast.
Amo Khan carried the torch for a while. Definitely. And obviously I would like to be up there with the greats.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a bit more about obviously your amateur career. You know, like what is it that you've been able to sort of accomplish so far in your career?
What was that? Sorry.
What is it that you've accomplished in your career so far?
Oh yeah, so I've won Haringey twice, 2 golds on that. I won the national ABAs, few national London titles as well, the NABCs, Tri-Nations, and an international box cup along with that. And I've actually finished my third GB assessment, hopefully hearing back good news, so hopefully get into the GB team as well.
Absolutely. And do you think that's the sort of dream for you to be in the GB squad, particularly with the Olympics 3 years away?
Definitely. I think it's most kids' dream that whoever go into amateur boxing always want to represent their country, especially Team GB. It's such a prestigious team to represent. And that is definitely the aim.
And who is like some of because obviously you just had the 2024 Olympics coming up to 2 years now since that's happened, you know, like, does that sort of motivate you every day to sort of be the best boxer you can be?
Definitely, of course. Everything around me spurs me on. My family, they're always supportive. The training partners, the guys in the gym, they're always pushing. We're all pushing each other, and we're all focusing on one goal. So just make sure you never lose sight of that.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a bit more about some of the challenges that you have to face as an amateur, because you know, people see so many highs, but what's been some of the things that you sort of have to navigate through in this amateur career so far?
So I did lose my mum like a week or 2 weeks before my first fight as an amateur. That was definitely a big thing that hit me hard, just trying to obviously filter through life along with work and fighting, and that was definitely a big step. Obviously we always get through it. That's why the family support network's the biggest shout out. My fiance, soon getting married, my dad, everyone behind the scenes, they all support me financially, trying to make time for me. Obviously, my fiance actually cooks my food preps to keep my weight down, which is amazing. But yeah, definitely the family support network definitely helps.
Absolutely. And how important is that family support, particularly as you're like coming up into this industry that perhaps can be very unforgiving at times?
Definitely can be. I think just trying to stay focused and keep maintaining your goal. It can definitely be hard. You do have your setbacks. Do have some decisions where you're not happy about it. But your coaches there, your mentors are there for a reason, and that's why you just got to bounce back.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a bit more about this past year and what you've been able to achieve this past year, and what is it you were able to achieve, and like, what's your ambitions for the rest of this year?
So the rest of this year is I'm waiting to hear back from GB. So hopefully I get onto the team. That would be great, amazing to represent GB and do tournaments with them. Like obviously the Worlds, the Commonwealths are coming up, and possibly the Olympics. Also the NACs, previously known as the ABAs, that's also coming about a month away, a month and a bit. So possibly going into that as well, and hopefully back-to-back wins on that would be great.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a bit more about every fighter, because every fighter before and after fight, you know, they're having to work hard to sort of like be on weight and all that kind of stuff. But I've got to ask you, what is like your favourite food to eat after every fight? I've got to ask you that though, to be fair.
Favourite food? There is a couple. I do love a Chinese.
I can't blame you on the Chinese though.
The Chinese and jerk chicken and rice. Coleslaw on the side.
Oh, good one though,
You need the coleslaw on the side. Without the coleslaw, it's nothing.
We can't blame you on the coleslaw though, to be fair.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And in terms of like the opponents that you sort of faced so far, which opponents have you sort of faced in your career so far that perhaps we should have a look out for?
I've definitely boxed a few top boys. Hopi Price, when I was a youth, I boxed him. He's a good pro coming up. Also, Giorgio Vascioli, we had a close fight, 3-2 split. He's another prospect that's coming through the ranks. And I think they're the main guys I've actually boxed, yeah.
Absolutely.
We've gone over, yeah.
Absolutely. And you got any fight coming up soon for you? Or?
There's a potential home show at the end of the month. So Repton is a big dinner show, so that would be amazing to box on your home show. That would be hopefully I can get matched, and yeah, I'll be boxing then.
Was he here for the, you know, when Viscioli did his face-off with Holworth? Was he here for the face-off, or?
I didn't think I'd make it, but I heard about it. It was supposed to be really good, yeah. I think it was next door, isn't it?
Does that sort of give you the bit of goosebumps in terms of what life can be as a boxer?
Yeah, the pro ranks, 100%. I think all the glitz and glamour. sometimes I always hear when you turn pro, you got to kind of give some time and energy to all this media stuff because you have to build your brand and show the journey. But I like to definitely just train and fight, but I'm definitely putting time aside for it.
Yeah, and one of the fighters that's sort of been trained by Vicioli is Mark Tibbs.
Yeah,
you see
yeah.
it on the walls as well, you know.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Like how much has he and other trainers have been instrumental in your career?
Definitely a big impact because what they learn, they always just pass down to information, tips and tricks, training regimes, the conditioning. So it's made me a better boxer in that way. And obviously the mentoring in general, trying to get yourself in a mental state.
Absolutely. So, you know, you're here, you're training, we won't keep you for too long. But for anybody that hasn't watched you before or hasn't heard about you before, why should they watch you fight? And also, why should they follow your journey?
Reason why they should watch me fight, it's always fireworks, crazy hand speed, footwork's amazing, and you'll definitely see some angles that you haven't seen before.